Okay, today we are talking about lines and their angles. You should have the paper that was in the basket. These are your notes for today. Okay, so a transversal is a line that intersects two or more coplanar lines at distinct points. So they're on the same plane. My picture shows my transversal T and my two lines, L and M. Okay, and notice how I get 8 total angles out of that. Okay. I have angles that are exterior and I have angles that are interior. What does interior mean?
Inside.
Inside, okay. What does exterior mean? Outside. Okay, so we have lines or angles inside the two lines, and then we have angles outside the two lines. Okay, and being able to know which one's interior and which one's exterior is going to be helpful. Okay, so with our angles, we have 4 different kind of pairings. Okay, I have alternate interior angles, same side interior, corresponding angles, and alternate exterior angles. Okay. Alternate interior angles are non-adjacent interior angles that lie on opposite sides of the transversal.
So like 3 and 5?
Yes. So interior and opposite transversal. Okay, so angle 3 and angle 5, right? They're interior, so they're inside those two lines, and they're opposite sides of the transversal. They're on opposite sides of that line T. Do I have another pair of alternate interior angles? 4 and 6, so angle 4 and angle 6. Okay, do I have any other pairs of alternate interior? Alright, those are the only 4 angles that are inside those two lines. Okay, next, same side interior angles. They're interior angles that lie on the same side of the transversal.
1 and 5.
So 4 and 5. And 3 and 6. Right, they're on the same side of that line, of that transversal or that T line. Okay, next, corresponding angles. Okay, they lay on the same side of the transversal and in corresponding positions. I heard it. 1 anyways. 2 and 6. What's another pair?
3 and 7.
1 and 5, 3 and 7, 4 and 8. Right, they're on the same side of the transversal. Okay. And they're in corresponding positions. So if I look at my 2 and 6, they're both kind of on top of those lines, right? 2 is on top of L and 6 is on top of M. Okay. And last, we have alternate exterior angles. So non-adjacent exterior angles that are on the opposite side of the transversal. So what would those be?
1 and 7.
Okay, 1 and 7. What else is an alternate exterior angle?
2 and 8.
2 and 8. Okay. Okay, so I have multiple pairings, right? Alternate interior angles, I've got 2 pairs. Same side interior angles, I've got 2 pairs. Corresponding angles, I have 4 pairs. And alternate exterior angles, I have 2 pairs. Okay. So we're going to go through and use these a little bit later to find angles. Okay. There's certain things about these 4 pairings that are true. Okay, so use the figure to the right. What are 3 pairs of corresponding angles? 1 and 3, okay. What else? 5 and what?
7.
7, right? They're in the same spots.
8 and 6.
8 and 6. What else? 2 and 4. Right, those are my corresponding angles. 1 and 3 kind of match up. If I were to take this kind of chunk right here and overlap it over that M line, 3 and 1 would line up, 2 and 4 would line up, 8 and 6, and then 5 and 7. Okay. Okay, I want you to do 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay, so let's see, we said 3, 2 for alternate interior angles. What's another pair?
8 and 6.
6. Okay, same side interior. We said 6 and 2. What's another one?
8.
8 and 3 or 3 and 8. Okay, corresponding angles. We have 1 and 3. What's another one?
8
3 and 5. Okay. Or let's see, we could do 7 and 6 and 2 and 4. Okay, what about alternate exterior? We have 1 and 4. What's my other one? Okay, good. Okay, so being able to identify those is going to help us with identifying angle measure. Okay, so parallel lines are coplanar lines that do not intersect. Alright, the symbol for parallel is 2 straight lines. Also, I forgot L's in parallel. Okay, so that symbol means blank is parallel to blank. Okay, I have 2 examples here. I want you to create a non-example. And Tarek, go draw your non-example up there. Okay. Alright, that's a non-example. My lines intersect. They cross each other. Good. Okay, so we are going to look where my 2 lines that are intersected by the transversal are parallel. Alright, so in this case, L and M are parallel. So L is parallel to M. Right? That's what these little arrows mean. Okay? They mean parallel. So L is parallel to M. Okay? Once again, I have my 4 kind of pairings, but this time we have a postulate and 3 theorems. Okay? So our same side interior angles postulate says if a transversal intersects 2 parallel lines, then same side interior angles are supplementary. What does supplementary mean? Add to 180, right? So plus to 180. Okay, so on my diagram, what are my same side interior angles?
3 and 6.
3 and 6, so angle 3 plus angle 6 is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, this only works if L and M are parallel. If they're not parallel, we just know they're same side interior angles. Okay, what's my other same side interior angles?
4 and 5.
4 and 5, so angle 4 plus angle 5 is equal to 180 degrees. Okay. Next, alternate interior angles theorem. Okay, this is a theorem. We could go through and prove it. Okay. And it says if a transversal intersects 2 parallel lines, then alternate interior angles are congruent. Okay. What does congruent mean?
The same.
The same, right? Same, or they're congruent. They're the same measure. So, what is one of my pairs of same measure. They're the same degrees. Okay? What's my other pair of alternate interior angles? 4 and 6. So angle 4 is congruent to angle 6. So 4 and 6 have the same measures. Next is corresponding angles. And so that is a theorem. And it says if a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then corresponding angles are congruent. Okay, so they're congruent, they're the same measure. So what's a pair of corresponding angles? 1 and 5. So 1 is congruent to angle 5. I also heard 2 and 6. Okay. So 1 and 5, 2 and 6. 4 is congruent to 8. And 3 is congruent to 7. Right? So 1 and 5 are the same measures. 2 and 6 are the same measures. Okay. The last one is alternate exterior angles. Okay? So if a transversal line intersects two parallel lines, then alternate exterior angles are congruent. So what are my alternate exterior angles?
1 and 7.
Okay, so angle 1 is congruent to angle 7. What's my other one? 2 is congruent to 8. Okay. So as long as you have the parallel lines that are getting intersected by that transversal, then these are all true. Okay? So same side interior angles at 180. Alternate interior angles are congruent. Corresponding angles are congruent, and alternate exterior angles are congruent. Okay, so here's my first kind of example. Yes? Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to be given an angle, and we're going to have to find out how much each of the other angles is, their measures, okay? Okay, so I know that one of those angles is 51 degrees. I want to know what the rest of them are. So I want to know what angle 1 is, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, angle 6, and angle 7. Okay. Okay. Let's see. What do I know about my 51 degree angle and angle 4? Why?
Because of the alternate interior.
Okay, they're interior, right? And they're alternate interior. Okay, so I'm going to write my reason out here. Alternate interior angles. Abbreviate. AIA. Okay, good. So let's see. What do I know about 4 and 7?
They are congruent.
Why are they congruent?
Because they are corresponding angles.
Right, corresponding angles, right? 4 and 7 are kind of in the same spot. Okay. Let's see. So we've got 4, we've got 7. Which one? 5. Okay. What do we know about 5? It's the same line. Or corresponding angles. Right? Because 5 and the 51 are in the same spot. So they're 51 degrees. Okay. What about the 4 I have left over? I have 2, 3, 1, and 6.
You could use the postulate to find angle 2. Just use 180 minus 51.
Okay, so Gabe's saying that because 2 and 51 are on the same side and they're interior, then they're supplementary, so they add to 180. Okay, so if I do 180 minus 51, what does that equal?
129.
129. So angle 2 is 129. That's my same side interior. Okay, so what do I know about 6?
It's
Same as 2, so 129. And that one is alternate interior angles. Okay, so we got 6. What do I know about 1 and 3? They're all the same, right? So 129. 129. Okay. How many different angle measures do I have?
2.
2, right? I only have a 51 and a 129. Okay, so ultimately in your answers, you should get 2 numbers. It's just going to depend on where they are and how they're positioned. Okay. Do we need to see another example? Sure. Okay, so I have 120. I want to know what angle 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Do you know what angle 1 is? 120, right? Because 1 and the 120 are in the same corresponding spot, so they're corresponding angles. Let's see. Do you know what angle 2 is? What is angle 2? 60. Alright, because these two have to add up to 180. Alright, so if I do 180 minus 120, I get 60. Okay, do you know what angle 3 is?
Yes.
What is it? 120, right? 3 and 120 are alternate interior angles. Okay, what about 4? How did you know it was 60? Corresponding to 2?
Well,
Not quite.
5 is corresponding to 2.
Okay, so 5 is corresponding to 2, and then what are 4 and 5?
They're alternate exterior.
Alternate exterior. Okay, good. So what does that mean 5 is?
60.
60. Okay, you could have argued that 2 and 4 are vertical angles, so that means they're congruent.
All right.
Right, that was last time. They make that V kind of shape, then they're congruent. Okay. I want you to go through and do this one.
I already did it.
Good. Okay. I want you to do 5. I'm going to do 6 with you. Okay, so for 5, I want to know what angle 1 is and angle 2 is. Okay? I find it a little bit easier to kind of draw them out separately so that I can see what's kind of going on with each transversal. Okay? So here's A and D. So I have AD and angle 1. The other side of this shape, I have B and C. And then I have a 70-degree angle and angle 2. Okay. I have my parallel lines. So what do I know about 80 and 1?
They're same side interior, they have 20.
Okay, so they're same side interior, so they add to 180. So I know if I do 180 minus 80, that equals angle 1. So what does angle 1 equal? 100. Good. Okay, what about 70 and 2? What do I know about those two angles? They're alternate interior, so they're the same. So angle 2 is congruent to 70. So angle 2 equals 70.
But 1 and 2 are in the middle, wouldn't they have to add 2?
Okay, because 1 and 2 are on that parallel line, not on a transversal, and because A and D and B and C are not parallel, they're going to meet somewhere off in the distance, then 1 and 2 do not have to add up to 180. Okay? If they were back to back, so if 2 is on the other side of 1, then yes, or if 1 is on the other side of 2, then yes. But since their angles aren't matching up to make a line, or just happen to be on that line, then they don't have to add up to 180. Okay, questions? Okay, I want you to do 7 and 8. Alright, this one is a 2-part. I want you to find the value of x, and then I want you to find the angle measure. So I want to know how many degrees this actually is and how many this one is. Okay, same for H. So I want you to find the measure, or find the value of x, and then plug it back in and tell me what those angles actually equal.